Hi, this is Mary. Um, this evening, I want to create a video that I hope will reach at least one person. Um, I had a dream last night about my ex boyfriend, and in the dream, he looked tired and almost skeleton like. However, when in the dream, when someone asked him, is that really you? Do you really look like this? He replied, oh no, I'm a strong person. I'm muscular. I'm this strong guy. And then the dream was over. And I definitely remember I woke up this morning. I thought, he wasn't a strong person. He played a part. Um, I will always see him as a fragile person, um, under a thick layer, you know. But anyways, I wanted to talk about what I have learned from my relationship. One thing I can say is that your life isn't over when someone breaks up with you. You will survive. You will definitely come out of it stronger. You'll learn a lot more about yourself and what you really need. You'll definitely learn about what you need to fix within yourself. So yeah, that's just a little quick thing. Your life isn't over. You will gain so much knowledge from experience. Um, so I definitely know that last year, April of 2015, was the it was a very hard month. My ex broke up with me, and my life felt like it was over. I definitely just was so obsessive with what happened to me, and I was terrified. I didn't know what was going to happen to me, and I held on this grudge, this anger of how he lied to me about certain things and how much time I wasted. And I remember in August 2015, I went to liarsandcheaters.com, and I posted all the lies he told me. Eventually, he found out, and he threatened to take me to court for defamation, and I was terrified. So I had to pay $1,000 to get two of the postings out of the website. I paid with my own two pockets. And I remember it distinctly that day. I remember telling myself, Mary, you really need to change. You need to really understand what's going on within yourself. So what happened was I decided to go to Peru. I, I decided to go to Peru in December 2015, and obviously the experience I had there was a life-changing experience, and I still feel like I'm changing a lot from it. I definitely remember, like I stated from my previous video, ayahuasca showing me how dirty my ex is. He just had a lot of like baggage, a lot of psychological baggage, and he wasn't sexually healthy. He was a heavy person. I definitely remember having a vision being under him. Ayahuasca wanted me to go back to that place, and she wanted me to see once and for all how what he really looks like. And I definitely remember seeing him, and he looked horrible. And I remember just thinking, oh my God, he is dirty. Ayahuasca keep telling me he's a dirty man. He's a dirty man. And she just really wanted me to understand that. And so, yeah. So here's a few things that I have learned from this long distance relationship. It was 3 years. Yeah, a long distance relationship. I know many people will say, oh, it's not a relationship. And from a logical standpoint, it isn't really a relationship. I mean, as human beings, we need physical touch. It is what it is. It's biology. But many people tend to want to prove that love wins and love will survive and et cetera, all this preaching crap about love. And it's best to just be completely honest with yourself in the situation that you're in, instead of envisioning something that's not really there. You have to see things as they are in a relationship. So one, I think it's just unfair to treat any relationship as a fantasy, as some sort of dream. You can't, I learned that, it's best to stay away from people who project their kind of ideals that are kind of corrupted and unrealistic. And I think it's important to at least you be, excuse me, you be conscious of what you're projecting to that person. Obviously, like every relationship, there's the infatuation period where you feel all these butterflies and you're convinced that you have met the one. If you want to be a little bit more rational, just understand that it's all a brain chemical thing that's happening. Your brain is just releasing dopamines, I think, and all sorts of stuff to convince you that you have met the one. And you have to understand that your own feelings can deceive you. You feel something, you're like, it feels good, so it must be good. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. Feelings, again, can deceive you. And the person that you're with, that you so convinced to be the one, he may not, or she may not be the one. So that's one of the things I learned from a relationship, is that there is no such thing as the one. And love to me isn't a mystical thing. It's a biological, I'll just say this, it's a biological experience. Your brain is just kind of creating a show for you, and you're the audience, and you're just watching, unaware of what's really happening. But it's okay to learn more about their biology. Just understand what's going on in your brain when you're falling in love. So I'd rather not deceive myself anymore. I accept the fact that I am a selfish human being with conditional needs. And I hate the fact that I have needs, because needs it will always cause suffering, but right now I'm here, I'm existing, and so I have to accept the fact that I have conditional needs. And I accept the fact that I have always had accepted this, that there is no such thing as unconditional love. This one quote is by a YouTuber. I forgot to mention, forgot his name, but I read one of his quotes from the comment section, or I think, well, it's a comment by him. But in the video is called, this title, What is Love? Who gave a more rational definition of what love is. And I remember just watching it and reading the comments and his comments. I was like, okay, this definitely does sound very logical. But anyways, he stated that individuals can only love that which they consider to be good, according to their own definition of good. This is why unconditional love without regard for the qualities of the object, is not only undesirable, but also impracticable. So, yes, I agree with this. And I knew this, I just couldn't put into words until I read that comment. I never believed in unconditional love. I had a spiritual experience. I had to say this, spiritual experience when I was 16, and it was just not human-like. It was just something else. But that's another story. But I don't believe conditional human beings, can give unconditional love. And what I learned is to honor my own definition of what is good, instead of compromising it for someone else, especially, men, like, I don't want to compromise my own definition of what is good. Like, honesty. Honesty means a lot to me. A good relationship is an honest one to me, and I just I refuse to ever associate myself with someone who's as honest with himself. I hope one day, I guess, I hope, that I will be with a man that is secure with his own thoughts and, you know, without this unusual subconscious expectation that I would coddle him, psychologically. I don't want that role. I feel like men would put that role to me, onto me without me realize. Well, in the past I didn't realize it, but now I understand that um, men project this expectation that you should be nurturers, and from a from what I learned, women are only built to biologically built to nurture children, not men, not adult men. So don't I refuse to be in a relationship again with a man who expects me to nurture him. Women are never nurtured by men. We don't, so why are we expected to nurture them? The nurturing aspect is only reserved for children, newborn babies. You don't see mother lions, female lions nurturing, her male lion or companion. You don't see that. So yeah, animal nature is just so much more honest than human nature. Human nature is so flawed and so manipulative and complicating. And, at least animals are honest with what they need. They know that they're here to just survive. Humans, they tried so hard to convince themselves that survival has magical purpose or something like that. But it's an ugly world, it's not pretty. Um, so I learned from the relationship that some men are just not aware of their wounds until it's too late. All it takes is like one little argument, and bam, their vision just shatters. This vision of their vision of a perfect, amazing woman he loves suddenly just becomes his biggest enemy. And this woman suddenly becomes his mother, who perhaps neglected him or abused him emotionally or physically or both. Um, and instead of accepting his own fears that were conditioned by his mother, he would rather psychologically, emotionally, or even unfortunately physically attack the girlfriend or the wife. So, and he'll also call her crazy or a bitch, too emotional, drama queen, etc., while he caters to his abusive mother needs, all because she gave birth to him, which is a weak and sad reason. You know, I have dealt with this with my ex. He he knew his mother is abusive, but because she gave birth to him, he, in a way, I feel like worships her. When she rejected him, um, whatever. So I stay away from men who has these. I'm not expecting anyone to like heal their wounds. Like I have wounds, I have issues with my mother still, but I'm aware of them. I'm aware of them. And I just refuse to be with a man who's not aware of his own wounds. Or, maybe he would be aware of them, but would try to, like, twist it around and, lie to himself. And three, I would never ever compromise my values, beliefs, my emotions, or whatever for anyone. I understood that in the relationship, I was manipulated to adopt my ex way of thinking. For example, he would comment on how I see things as black and white. Well, I do. I see things as black and white. There are good things in the world. There are bad things in the world. Uh, just open your eyes. Go to a third world country. Just see things as they are. And I honor this way of thinking. I like that I'm very practical. I I understand that even pleasurable experiences can turn ugly. Um, and I know that in the past, my ex would make me feel bad for being not optimistic, or, and he was more of an idealist. He was more of a flexible, idealist, optimistic type person with an exaggerated ego. He would say, I'm the strongest person that I know, and blah, blah, blah. And so he will point at my way of thinking and see it as something bad. So he will try to like convince me to be more of, like, an idealist or optimistic person. It's just really all selfish stuff. He just wanted me to be like him. You know, I understand things in a realistic way. I just love to see things as they are. It keeps me sane. Nothing imaginary, no imaginary like stuff. So I refuse to be in a relationship with someone who wants me to adopt their way of thinking. I'm not an optimistic person. I just am not. So yeah.